I'm with Mr. H, and it's me, Wayne, one of the subscribers, viewers to the channel, has just asked a question. Have we any experience with DMT, mushrooms, etc.? Now, there's a video on the channel way back where I talked about an ayahuasca experience. I don't think go back and look for the video.
It's one of my favourite videos, that, just to interject here, so...
Go on, carry on.
It's one of my favourite videos.
You said something, there's a thunderstorm. I've not seen this video.
I know I just quickly just go off tangent. We filmed it, and there was a thunderstorm, and you was telling the story, and just as you got to the most interesting part of the story, the thunder kicked in just at the right moment, and then it started raining, so you can hear the rainfall on the trees and everything. So definitely go back and watch that one.
Can you do that thing where you make it ding and the video comes up to link that video to this one?
Yes, you can.
Can you do that at some point?
Yeah, I can do that one. So if you want to go back and watch that video, I'll put a link up now.
Bing! There's a link of it'll ting in a minute, kind of thing. Yeah, that's the video. My thoughts on them. I went to this mushroom evening where they gave you chocolate with mushrooms in. Now, it was a very low dose, and it was very fucking new age, and you lied on a bed with an eye blind, then these blind things on your eyes, and they fucking
like paying in certain establishments in Soho.
Unfortunately, no one gave you a happy ending, sir. And there's these two fuckers with like rain drums, and it was quite a nice, pleasant experience. And I believe in science and the universe, me. I was only low dosed, so I went and I came home the same night. And I normally have a glass of water bottle by my bed. And this particular night, it fell on the floor, and I didn't think nothing of it. I have wooden floors, so it fell about that high. And I couldn't feel the bit. And then next thing I felt, the bottle had smashed, and a big shard of glass stuck in my arm. I have a scar somewhere. I can't really see it, but it was that deep of a cut that I was on my way to hospital when it just started healing. And I think that was the universe telling me stay away from that shit, because the day after I felt so angry, so out of sorts, and so just bad after taking them mushrooms. And here's the thing, right? When you take anything, an hallucinogen, effectively part of you goes out there. Now, if you're not with people, they call it holding space. You need someone to hold that space with you and look after you. If you don't have the appropriate people to do that, any entities can... You're vulnerable and open. Any kind of entity can attach itself to you.
It's like a two-way door.
Yeah, you're opening yourself up, and any entity can attach it. And something definitely got inside me, and I was angry, enraged, and just felt completely fucked. And if you watch that ayahuasca video, Mr. H is going to link to this one. Basically, I didn't get much out of the ayahuasca trip. Everybody says it's changed their life and all that. I personally didn't. I enjoyed it. Went through the video will tell you. Went through a really mad thing, and then I felt calm and serene after it had happened. But my friend Chris D, I don't know if you're watching this, Chris. Before I had went to this ayahuasca place, he said to me something I've never forgot. All the answers you seek are within you. They're not in a pipe. They're not in a pill bottle. Magic leaves. Everything starts and ends with you. There is no... See, ayahuasca and stuff like that, acid and all that, it's all very well, but it's fast tracking, and a lot of people just want a quick fix, similar to the other things. You know, humans will always want a quick fix. There's a great line, I've quoted it before, in the film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, where Hunter Thompson, the journalist, talks about the acid culture of the 60s, where people were buying Enlightenment for $2 a hit. And people who go on an ayahuasca retreat are effectively buying Enlightenment for a few £100. mostly, especially in this country, of some self-appointed fucking guru who could have been a fucking dry line wall fixer, a welder, or worked in IT, and suddenly bought some silky fucking jammers and called herself Blue Wolf or something, and just became a shaman. You know, you're effectively taking dangerous, psychedelic, mind-altering drugs. A lot of the times with dickheads holding space for you, and I'm not down in ayahuasca. A lot of people, my friend Chris in Colombia took it, but he was in the jungle with see, a shaman should be, but a shaman in those cultures is picked from being a child. They sort out, and they can see the abilities of that would you would need to be a shaman from a child. Over here, somebody just self-appoints themselves and says, "Yeah, I'm a shaman." You know what I mean? They read a few books, buy a wand, whatever, a fucking dream catcher, and basically they put themselves out there as a shaman, but they're not. They're just fucking idiots for the most part. Not all, for the most part, they're dickheads. You know, when you get into Colombia and all that, the real jungle people, there's still dickheads there. There's people over there who'll take them into the jungle, fill them for ayahuasca and rape them. You know, and Chris told me that. He said you have to be very, just because they've got a fucking headdress on and they're Colombian, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that they're actually authentic. So you have to find the right people to take you on these journeys. But having said, again, it's doing the work on yourself. You know, if you spent 50 years of your life being fucked up, if you can reach depression in seconds, that's because you've taught yourself, you've created a neural pathway to make yourself jump into that state, right? To trigger yourself in that state. So it makes sense. Say if you spent decades building that, it's going to take time. It might take a couple of decades to reverse that. Mm-hmm. And you reverse that by working on yourself, speaking positively to yourself, reframing your thoughts. And this isn't easy, especially when you the voice of Vince's father in your head saying, "This is shit, this is never going to work." I said, "I am good, I'm a good person, I'm good," whatever you want to think. And you've got that voice in your head going, "Neither, no, that's shit." Yeah. You know, but eventually, when you have that voice, everybody has that kind of voice, that prosecutor within. You can quieten that voice, but it takes work. It takes relentless work, and you know you have to do work on yourself. I use this grounding. I talk about grounding a lot. You'll be bored with it. I do cold showers for anxiety. There's all kinds of things. What you can be meditating, but how you speak to yourself is massively important. That's one of the most important things. How you communicate with yourself in your dialogue. You know, there's all these things to take into account. I mean, I've known people who go on every retreat and have took every plant and every berry that gets you off your head, and they're still fucked up. I have known people who are no better than somebody who's attended fucking the Hacienda for 10 times and took loads of drugs. At the end, they've nothing to show for it. Yeah. You've got the experience to remember, but it's not always the answer. You know, if you remember, everything comes from within. Happiness comes from within. You're never gonna get your happiness externally, you know. And I'm sorry I'm going on about this video. It's like we talked about the myth of arrival, where there's some future event that's going to bring you happiness. It's fucking not. It'll bring you short-term pleasure. You know, like you'll get the car of your dreams. Oh, it's great this, and you drive it round for a bit, and it's like, well, what do I do now? Tyson Fury, all his life he wanted to be heavyweight champion. He attained that. He went off his head, and what do I do now? He just became a drug addict in first time round. And you know, it's happiness isn't over there. It's never. Or it's like, I'm not preaching to you, anybody. I'm just saying. But you your life now. You seem in a very content space and place. Have you any thoughts on what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. I've never done anything like that, so that's why it's been over to you on that sort of thing. I've never bothered trying any of the drugs. Not because I'm a purist and, you know, I'm self-disciplined or anything. Again, it's fear. I always had fear that you go to one of these places, and it all goes terribly wrong, and I found myself at the back of a skip somewhere where I've just been dumped, you know, at the back of some bins, and you're fending for yourself. That's always been my fear. What if it goes wrong? What if it's, you know, whatever acid or whatever I'm going to try, it's not that. It's been, because they cut it with things, don't they? Now, you know, you could say, yeah, they're just urban myths then, Mr. H, but that's been it with me, so I've never done that. As such, I've had to face a lot of anxiety, a lot of loneliness, etc., and the bad times, sober if you like. Now, don't get me wrong, I like a good drink. Anybody, if you watch the old previous videos, you'll see I had a little still in here. Not that I'm a pisshead or anything, but that's my crutch. Every now and again, I tend to do binge drinking, me, sir, which isn't a good thing. You know, when I get taste for it, I'll go for it. You know, but no, I've never done anything like that. But yes, you are right. I am in a very content place now. It just sort of all come together. And I remember when I was seeing a lass at time, you'll remember her, and she was a right cow, wasn't she? You know, she was a right head wrecker. Well, seeing somebody I shouldn't have been seeing for many reasons. It's fodder for another video, but I remember speaking to my dad, and my dad just said, look, when you meet right one lad, he says, and this isn't the most flattering thing, and I'm sorry, Mrs. H, if you see this, but he said it's like wearing an old pair of comfy slippers, it just feels right. And he was right. When I met Mrs. H, it just felt right, and well, what, no, 20 years, don't lie, being together, me and Mrs. H. Not saying we've never had a crossword or anything, and then my lads come along, and I feel complete and happy. And you know, now I feel as if I'm in the role that my dad was once in, and I'm putting that onto my son. You know, so yeah, I am very content. But no, I've no experience, sadly, so I can't really input much on that. You've been on this journey, haven't you, with things and that?
I've had a dabble in these things, you know, but like you said, I mean, what would you say constitute then your current state of mind? Peace, just time and just meeting someone? Oh, it's just not that, is it?
It's just meeting someone, things falling in place. I'm just being content with myself. I don't feel as though I've anything to prove anymore to anybody. You know, some people will come on here and they might leave some nasty comment, and it's just, you just shrug it off. You just learn to shrug it off. It doesn't matter. You know, when I began my YouTube journey, I've said this to you off camera, I was very protective of what I did. Somebody would come on and leave a nasty comment, and I felt as though it was a big attack to me, which opens you up to an whole world of heartache, because people then learn and they start doing it just to annoy you. No, I think, no, I'm just at a stage in my life where I'm content, because I don't feel I have anything to prove anymore. And if you don't like it, tough, you know, I'm not bothered. End it there. Yeah. I'm happy, and that's all that matters and counts.
Yeah. Might
sound a bit selfish in some respects, but there we go. My father once said, look after number one, because nobody else will look after you. You know.
Yeah, I think regarding healing, obviously psychedelics are used for healing, and I'm not discounting that. Some people microdose mushrooms. I think Sean C on my YouTube channel has microdosed and found positive results with them. You know, it's another ayahuasca, psychedelics are another thing than they're not the thing.
It's not going to work for everybody.
You can't just put your faith in one thing. So I've had these. You have to do work. If you're a damaged person, you have to work on that. You have to go in yourself. Your face. Carl Jung talked about the shadow, the dark parts of us that are repressed, that we won't let out. You have to face your shadow. You have to go inside yourself. And another thing, I was going to do a video on it. We'll do it now. This is another podcast for you all. Lucky you. Is the inner child healing. No, I fucking laughed. I thought this was such wank. You know what I mean? But I have a friend who's an eminent counsellor, and he said it's a thing. And the inner child healing is such an important thing. It's where you reconnect with that. If you've had childhood trauma, like I can't speak for you, and I don't want to. If you don't want to, but anyway, I'll speak for myself. I've had a bit of childhood trauma, just mainly from my father, and things I've seen, domestic violence, shit, and other stuff. But what you would do in addressing childhood trauma is you would visualise yourself revisiting those places where the child was, and you would guide the child out of them places and just communicate with that part of you. Yeah. It's basically communicating with your shadow in the form of a child. and it works. You know, a lot like if you're talking to your small-minded fucking motorbike crosser driving fucking dunderhead, they'll think you're a fucking knobhead. You know, but a massive part of there's all these aspects of healing. It's not just psychedelics. Some people are lucky enough to take a psychedelic and get healed, but then even then you have to work on that healing. You can't just keep getting off your fucking head every week. You know what I mean? And let the drug do it for you. You know, and that's what I think. Life is a personal journey, and your truth is an individual truth to you. What works for Mr. H might not work for me, and vice versa. You know, and you know, so that's my kind of answer on psychedelics. Is they are the answer and they are the answer. You know, it's basically they can be part of a healing protocol journey, but I don't think they're the complete answer, because everything starts from within you, and you must do the work. And without that, you're just getting off your head.
Well, I will say this for you, whatever you're doing with your grounding, etc., it seems to work, because you seem to be a lot more chilled and a lot more relaxed these days. Even to a point, I know you can turn around and say 8 years ago you was in a dark place with your father and that, but even from 2 years ago, you know, at the time, I think you'll say this, you know, you still had a lot of anger in you, etc., and you seem to have let go of that a lot. Perhaps since turning 50, whether 50 is a magical number or not, I don't know.
It's only recently since I've been doing all this work on myself, and that's the truth. It's all these bringing all these things together has worked personally for me. The truth is, Mr. H, I don't want to be happy. I want to be content, because happiness doesn't last. Happiness is like eating a chocolate bar. You're only going to eat that chocolate bar so long that it's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can eat chocolate forever, but it's not feasible. It wouldn't work. No. I saw this Buddhist monk talking about it. He said, what you should be striving for is peace. You shouldn't be striving for happiness, because happiness fleets. You know what I mean? But if you can do everything you can, and even though the world around us is crumbling, and if you turn the news on, and if you look on your social media feed, everything's going to shit, everybody hates each other. Look, there's still this. There is still peace. You know, turn your fucking phone off, turn your television off, come out into this. Like, it's like there's a Bill Hicks. I'm sorry, am I hijacking this?
No,
there's a Bill Hicks bit where he did on stage. He goes, I put on the. I'm not going to do an American accent. I put on the news. There's war, famine, death, destruction. There's when I go and stand on my porch, and it's just all it is the noise of a cricket. Basically saying, like, you know, somewhat. If I was to put on my phone, BBC News on my phone now, it'd be this is happening. He's doing this. I know the new strain found, death, but like, obviously we can hear these fucking sirens and things because we're in an urban setting. We're not in the middle of nowhere. But even that, we're still in here. We're still soaking all these frequencies and electrons
still
up.
birds tweeting.
You know, there's still birds tweeting, and you know, there's still, in a world of madness, there is still peace to be found. There really is, and I think that's an important thing to know. And my message to anybody is, try psychedelics. Make sure you got somebody holding space for you who's a competent person, a trustworthy person, and just it's another experience. You know, I won't diss psychedelics. They have the place, but like I said, they're just part of the thing. But you always have to do the work yourself.
Yeah, you can't add nothing else to that, so you're quite right. Like I say, if you do decide to use psychedelics, just do it the correct way, the safe way, safe as can be. You don't want to end up in Mr. H's nightmare of ending up behind a skip or some old bench somewhere, do you?
This is very true, yeah. Just seek responsible people to take you on your journey, you know, and experience
there
people.
Are responsible people out there.
Mr. H, this is 20 minutes. This is another podcast.
Right, so I think
yeah.
then.
Please subscribe to us. Please help us grow this channel. I hope you enjoy our content, and we'll see you on the next one.